By the way, I had kind of like, you popped back on my radar in a big way last year because I got addicted to this app called Vine. And it was like a weird addiction because it lasted for like 6 months of constant vining. And then I don't think I've done it in 6 months, but you were always vining.
I know it. I was the same way. When I discovered it, I just went crazy, and it was pretty much just a way to occupy my mind when I'm on the road, have a lot of downtime. And, but after going back and looking at it, I'm like, man, I'm a lonely dude that just hangs out of my van all the time.
Well, that was it. It was always, like, I think if I remember correctly, it was always Walking Man. And you're like, Walking Man, Walking Man. And it was just you walking around a town all day. That's what it basically seemed like. Every Vine was kind of like that.
I still do it. We did it last night. I was on stage there in Fort Worth at a big show, and I just pulled it out and told everybody to wave at the camera.
Then I think you did a Vine, and I was like, did he just do what I think he did? I'm pretty sure you did a Vine where you were outside of either outside of the show or getting ready to go in, or it was after a show, and you were hanging out with somebody just smoking weed out in the. Oh, yeah. And it was like on Vine, and I was like, is he just smoking weed? Like, check it out, I'm smoking weed.
But that's how I've always kind of been like that. I grew up. My parents were hippies. They smoked marijuana, and I started smoking at an early age, and to me, it's not to get heavy or anything. It's not really partying. To me, it's a sacrament. I do it every day. It's part of my spiritual training. And
oh wow,
I think I don't think it should just be legal. I think it should be mandatory. I think when you look at people, you can kind of divide them into people that's done it and the people that haven't, and you can kind of see you can almost tell who's done it and who hasn't.
Yeah.
By where their consciousness is, and you're not going to expand your consciousness drinking alcohol or taking cocaine or any kind of drugs, but every time that I've done that, I feel like it does expand my consciousness.
It's a weird reflective.
There's no shame in my game.
Yeah, it's a weird reflective kind of drug, and I'll be honest, I was like, if they could just do what they did in Colorado and Texas, I'm pretty sure I would smoke it every day. But then there's that side of me that's like so paranoid about like cops and drug tests and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know, this whole thing. And but I do know, like, it's such, because people do compare it, which is weird in our society, to alcohol. It's a much different drug, and you have a much different experience if you're smoking marijuana versus if you're getting drunk,
Yeah, there's never been a person that's OD'd on marijuana.
Yeah.
Ever in the history of the world. People aren't out causing trouble. But at the same time, I don't really want my accountant smoking a joint before he does the taxes. You know what I'm saying? But I'm an artist. I think as an artist, I think it's perfectly fine.
Do you do it before you write or before you're creative?
I do it. Yeah, I do. But I'm one of those kind of guys that I have it with my coffee in the morning, and
You do it all. You sound like, because you said it's like a sacrament. Do you do like meditation or anything as well? Is that part of it, or?
Oh yeah. Well, I try to do meditation every day. It's kind of over the years, just trying to. I don't know. I've been in this business for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've had all kinds of different phases of addiction, and I mean, everybody's seen behind the music. It's no different for me, but other than what I would classify clean and sober, pretty much for the last 12, 15 years. And part of my maintenance just to keep myself together. It's tough on your body and your mind and your spirit out on the road.
Well, I've heard of people that do a lot of like TM and transcendental meditation and stuff like that. And I know the people that do meditation really do. It's very cleansing for like the spirit and the soul and all that kind of stuff. So I know that's yeah,
definitely, man. I've been trying to get into yoga and just anything I can to trying to keep me going. The stronger I am, the more I can keep doing what I'm doing.
And I am curious about this too, because it was like, if I was going to do experiences of my life, like, like no other was the one, and it only happened once, but I always talk about it still, was I had a true from top to bottom like trip on mushrooms, like a hallucinogenic experience. And it was like what you're talking about experiencing with like expanding your consciousness and stuff like that. It really was like, I don't know, like I really, my mind thought differently, and I felt like I had figured things out that afterwards I couldn't think the same. I don't know. Maybe I was just high and stupid. I don't know, man.
No, I had the same experience. You know, when I was younger, I did a lot of hallucinogenics, from LSD to Shrooms, which was always my favorite.
Yeah.
And we were the same way. We would think we solved the riddles of the universe, but then when we came down, we couldn't remember it. So we were like, okay, next time we do it, we're gonna have a tape recorder going so we can think of these great ideas.
It is.
When we listened back to it, it was like total nonsense.
It really is another level experience. But yeah, shrooms. And if you grew up in the country like I did, it wasn't like you went and bought shrooms. Like you went and like found them like old school style. At least that's how that's how all my trips went. But anyway, so we talked about